Hello, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about rounding to the nearest 10, but we're all with larger numbers. So if you've seen the other videos, we're rounding to the 10, but it was a 10. If we rounded to the 100 and it was a 100 number. So today we're going to look at how do we do this when it's a larger number. And I appreciate you. I would love if you liked the video to like and subscribe. That always means a lot, sending out the positive vibes. All right, we're going to start with a little bit of review. So in the other video, we talked about rounding to the nearest 10. And so we looked at our number 37, right? We did some highlighting. We said, okay, there's the 3. We're going to highlight that because that's in the tens. And we drew our arrow because this was the deciding number, the 7, right? It was bigger than 5. We knew that 30, because of this, was our first choice, and the next 10 would be 40. That would be our second choice, right? So again, we were talking about rounding, and we want to see who is it closer to. And in the last video, we used this. We pinpointed if this was 35, 36, 37, right? This helped us realize that the 5 would be the middle of the line, and anything larger would be closer to the bigger 10, right? So if we were rounding 37 to the closest 10, it would be 40, right? And so this number, 37, has tens. It has nothing larger, right? And we also talked about rounding to the nearest 100 last time, and we had a number that was in the hundreds. We had 253, and we said we looked in the hundreds place, right? We highlighted that, or we underlined that. We decided what was going to go on our number line. So this was a 2, so this meant 200, and the next 100 would be 300. So now we were looking at our deciding number, which was the 5, and 5 always meant to round up. So we were going to the 300, right? So 253 rounded to the nearest 100 would be 300. So what happens when we come up with bigger numbers, like a number in the hundreds, and we want to round to the nearest 10? And so this is really when the highlighting gets important, okay? Because we want to focus in on what's going to change, right? We're talking about our tens. So 253, we want to know which 10 is it closer to, okay? So we're not getting out of the 200s. Notice the 2 didn't change. But the 10, right, gave me 50, so it would be 250 or 260, right? And so we have to now look at our deciding factor. This is 3, right? Because we always go 1 to the right, and this is where our arrow helps us. A 3 is less than 5, so it would be on this side of the number line. So rounding 253 to the closest 10 would be 250, right? Because it would be somewhere over here, which is still closer to the 250, okay? Because sometimes, if, let's say, rounding to the 100 might not make sense here. So if I was to say, let's say I wanted to know, how many people were at the party, and I wanted a close estimate, so I could order enough pizzas, right? So if I had said 200 or 300, and, we wouldn't want to order way, way off. So this gives you a closer range, okay? So let's try the next one. All right, so our number is 347. It says round to the nearest 10. So again, here, I'm highlighting my 10. The 3 is not going to change, right? So I think back here when we did round to the nearest hundreds, remember we didn't have to pay attention to the ones, right? Well, now when we're here, the 3 isn't going to change. So it's going to be 3 40, because that's our 10, right? This means 40. So 340, or the next 10 after 40 is 50, 350. How do we decide where it's closer? Well, we look at the 7, right? We know that if it's 5 or larger, we're going towards the bigger number, okay? So this 7 is bigger than 5. It's greater than 5. It's more than 5, however you want to say it. So we would round 347, if we were rounding to the nearest 10, to 350. Okay, and again, I would like to know that you are having, an active learner mindset. So you should be thinking about, which numbers would go here, what you think it's going to be rounded to, and to see if your answer matches with my answer. Think about your thinking process. Here we're rounding to the nearest 10. So again, 671, right? So we have to focus in on where are my 10s. This is my 10s. So this is where underlining and highlighting helps, okay? So this 7 10s means 70. We don't have to touch this. So 670 would be our first number on the number line, and the next 10 would be 680. So now that we have our two choices, we know that we're going to look at our deciding number. It's a 1. A 1 is less than 5. So we're going to go with the lower of the two numbers, which is 670. Okay, so 671 rounded to the nearest 10 is 670. All right, let's try this one. Again, rounding to the nearest 10, 487. So our 400 is not going to change, 400, 400. We're focusing in on our 10s, okay? 8 10s means 80, so 480 or 490. All right, that's the first part done. So now we want to look at our deciding factor, our deciding number. It's a 7. 7 is bigger than 5, greater than 5, more than 5. Again, however you want to say it. So we're going to go with the bigger number. So 487 rounded to the nearest 10 is 480. Nope, 490. Hope you caught me there. Good. And see how talking to yourself helps you realize, right? Because that just helped me catch my error, because we all make mistakes. All right, so this one, round to the nearest 10 again. We have a number in the hundreds, 355. All right, so again, you should be thinking, okay, what would I do first? Okay, I would underline, highlight, circle, so I know what I'm thinking about, right? Then I'm going to decide which two numbers are my choices, right? The 300 is not going to change, so it's 300 and 300. And then my 5 means 5 10s, so that's 50, so 350. And the next 10 is 360. So these are my two choices, okay? Then I'm going to look at my deciding factor. It's a 5, 5, and up. We always round up, so we're going to go towards this number. So 356 or 355 rounded to the nearest 10 would be 360. And let's try our last one together. 292 rounded to the nearest 10. So I want to focus in on where's my 10s. What numbers am I talking about here? Okay, 9. So 9 10s is 90. So over here I put 290. Now if we were counting by 10s, what would come over here? What comes after 90? So be thinking, have a number in your head, right? So did you say 100? Right, 90, 100, yes. So we're going to actually now jump up from, so 290, the next 10 would be 300, okay? And then we're going to look at our deciding factor. Is a 2. 2 is less than 5, would be on this side. So 292 rounded to the nearest 10 would be 290. Okay. All right, your turn. So you're going to round these numbers to the nearest 10. So again, I suggest that you write these down on paper, you underline, highlight the 10, you use your little arrow, you can make your little number line and decide where to go. This is a good place to pause the video so you can do your work, and then when you're done, unpause it to check to see how you did. Okay? All right, focus and good luck. All right, so 821 rounded to the nearest 10. So I highlighted the 2, right? So I know that the 8 doesn't change. So that would be 820. And the next 10 would be 830, right? So that I look at the 1. 1 is less than 5. So it would be rounded to 820. If I looked at this one, 676, rounded to the nearest 10. 6 is not going to change. So 600, looking at my 10 right here. So that would be 670. And the next 10 would be 80. So it would be 680, right? So then we're going to look at the next number. It's a 6. A 6 is greater than 5. So we're rounding up. Okay, how are we doing? Make sure you now, I hope you're getting them right. And if you're not, think about did you do all the steps? Did you write it out, right? That makes a difference. So 528 rounded to the nearest 10. We're going to look at our 10. What tens are we talking about here, right? The 500 doesn't change, so it's 520. And then the next number would be 530, right? We're going to look at our next number. That's an 8. That's the deciding factor. 8 is bigger than 5, so 530 is our number that we're rounding to. Put that in green. Okay. All right, here, rounding to the nearest 10. Okay, 743. So this is my 10. So 700 is not going to change, so it'd be 740. Next 10 would be 750. I'm going to look at my next number, the deciding factor, to 3. The 3 is less than 5, so I'm going with the lower number. So I would round to 740. All right, and our last one, 485. So I'm focusing in on my 10 because that's where they want me to round. It's an 8, so it's 80. So that would be 480, 4 all the way to 490, right? I'm going to look at my deciding factor. It's a 5. So 5 and up, I round up. And 490 would be my answer. So, hope you did well. I hope I see you again. I hope this was helpful. Again, don't give up. Keep trying. You will get it. That I can promise you. Just keep trying and doing your best, focus, and have a can-do attitude. And I hope you subscribe, and I hope I will see you again. Great job.